In today's video, we're diving into the world of Stoicism and examining some powerful signs that could indicate a relationship is not worth holding on to. If she tells you these 10 things, it might be time to walk away. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm, clear-headed, and in control of our emotions, but also to recognize when it's healthier to let go. So, grab a seat, and let's explore these key red flags from a Stoic perspective. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insightful content. Number 1. I don't need you, I don't need you, is a phrase that often emerges during moments of pain, anger, or self-realization. It signifies a powerful assertion of independence, but also the complexity of human emotions. When said, it may come from the heart of someone who has been hurt or let down by someone they once depended on. It's not merely a rejection of the person, but a declaration that the speaker has discovered their own strength and ability to stand alone. This phrase, however, can be a double-edged sword. While it can symbolize growth, resilience, and empowerment, it can also carry a sense of finality. It can signal the end of a relationship or partnership, whether romantic, familial, or platonic. The words may be spoken in the heat of a moment, masking the vulnerability that lies beneath the surface. Because deep down, even the most independent individuals may long for connection and understanding. The challenge in saying "I don't need you" lies not in the words themselves, but in the intention behind them. Are they spoken to hurt, or as an affirmation of personal strength? Is it an emotional shield to protect oneself, or a moment of truth that reveals the realization of self-worth? For many, it's a journey from dependence to self-sufficiency, where one recognizes their own ability to overcome obstacles and thrive without relying on others for validation or support. Ultimately, "I don't need you" is more than just a phrase. It is a milestone in personal growth, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and an acknowledgement that, no matter the circumstances, we are capable of standing on our own. Number 2. I'll never change. I'll never change. These 3 simple words carry with them the weight of personal conviction, the unyielding belief that who we are at our core is not something that can be molded or influenced by the ever-changing world around us. To say, "I'll never change," is not necessarily a refusal to grow, but rather a declaration of staying true to one's values, principles, and essence, regardless of the pressure to conform. In a society that constantly pushes for reinvention, whether through trends, expectations, or the relentless passage of time, these words serve as a reminder of the power of self-acceptance. It's easy to lose ourselves in the chaos of change, to become someone we aren't in pursuit of external validation. But in asserting that we won't change, we hold on to the uniqueness that defines us. It's about embracing the things that make us who we are, our quirks, passions, and flaws, because they are the very things that give our lives meaning and direction. Of course, life will test us. Challenges, hardships, and experiences will come, and the temptation to alter ourselves to fit new circumstances might arise. But the promise of staying true to oneself no matter what is a reminder that our worth doesn't lie in fitting in, but in being authentically who we are. It's the courage to stand firm when others try to pull us in different directions, and the wisdom to know that the only person we need to become is the person we already are deep down. In the end, it's not about resisting change, but about choosing which changes are worthy of our time and energy, and which ones simply don't align with the essence of who we are. Number 3. You never listen to me. It's frustrating when you feel like you're speaking, but your words fall on deaf ears. Time and time again, I've tried to express my thoughts, my feelings, and my needs, yet it seems like you're not truly hearing me. You nod, you smile, but there's no real connection in your response. I've always believed communication is a two-way street, but in moments like these, it feels like I'm talking to a wall. My words have value, just like yours do, and all I want is the simple acknowledgement that you've heard what I've said. It's not about agreeing with everything or changing your mind. It's about respecting my perspective. It's about giving me the space to be understood. I don't need grand gestures. I just need you to show that you're truly listening. When you constantly dismiss my words, it feels like I'm invisible, like my thoughts don't matter. And when that happens, it becomes hard to keep talking, to keep sharing, because it feels like no matter what I say, it's not going to make a difference. The silence that follows can be deafening. It's not about feeling superior or proving a point, but about fostering a sense of mutual respect. I want to be heard, not for the sake of being right, but because I deserve that. It's an exhausting cycle when I'm constantly left wondering if my voice is too small to be heard, or if it's just being ignored. All I want is to be listened to, with understanding and empathy, so we can move forward together side by side, truly hearing one another. Number 4. It's your fault that I'm unhappy. It's your fault that I'm unhappy, though I never intended for things to turn out this way. It's hard to admit that someone else has the power to make you feel small, invisible, or hurt. But in this case, the truth stings. You see, I trusted you. I gave you my time, my energy, and my heart, believing that you would cherish it the same way I did. But somewhere along the way, you let me down. I don't expect perfection, but I expected something real, something genuine, and it feels like you broke that trust every time you failed to consider my feelings, every time you dismissed my needs as unimportant. It's not just one thing either. It's the accumulation of words left unsaid, actions ignored, and the growing distance between us. Every time I reached out, you were too busy or too distant, and with each of those moments, the weight of my loneliness grew heavier. Your indifference has become a quiet reminder that my happiness is secondary to yours, that my struggles are invisible in the grand scheme of things. You may not even realize how deeply your actions, or lack of them, have cut into me, but they have. The hardest part is that I still care, still hope things could be different. But I can't keep blaming myself for the unhappiness you've contributed to my life. I know I'm responsible for my own choices and emotions, but when you're let down again and again by someone you thought would be there for you, it's hard not to feel that the fault lies in the hands of the person who had the power to make things better, but chose not to. Number 5. I need you to fix me. I need you to fix me. Are words that reflect a deep vulnerability and a longing for transformation. It is a cry often heard when someone is struggling, feeling broken or lost, but doesn't know how to piece themselves together. In these words, there is an admission of personal flaws, pain, or confusion, a recognition that something isn't right, and the belief that someone else might hold the key to their healing. But what does it truly mean to be fixed? Is it the removal of all imperfections, or is it learning to embrace the parts of ourselves that feel fractured? The idea of needing someone to fix us can imply a dependency on external sources for validation and change. Yet the process of fixing is not always linear. It's not about instant perfection, but about growth, understanding, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. To be fixed is not to become flawless, but to evolve. It's about the choice to mend what can be healed and accept what cannot. It's about finding balance in the chaos and learning how to live with the parts of ourselves we wish we could change. Asking for help doesn't mean weakness. Rather, it's a sign of strength, recognizing that we don't have to navigate our struggles alone. In the end, the journey towards fixing isn't about someone else completing us. It's about finding wholeness within. It's about discovering that while we may feel broken at times, we are capable of rebuilding ourselves one step at a time. And sometimes, we don't need to be fixed at all. We need to be accepted, just as we are. Number 6. You're not good enough for me. The phrase, "you're not good enough for me," can sting deeply, often leaving us feeling rejected, unworthy, or misunderstood. It's a sharp statement, loaded with judgment, a painful reflection of someone else's perception of our value. But it's important to remember that such words are not a definitive measure of who we are. They often stem from a place of insecurity, superiority, or fear from the person saying them. People who express such sentiments may be projecting their own fears or struggles onto others, attempting to elevate themselves by bringing someone down. While it may feel like a harsh critique, it doesn't define your worth. When someone tells you that you're not good enough, it's a reflection of their own limitations or expectations that may not align with who you are. It's essential to understand that their opinion doesn't make you any less capable, valuable, or deserving of love and respect. You are good enough, just as you are, and no one else's words should have the power to convince you otherwise. What truly matters is how you see yourself and the confidence you have in your abilities, your character, and your uniqueness. In relationships, whether personal or professional, it's crucial to be with people who appreciate you for all that you are, without trying to make you feel smaller in the process. People who truly care will lift you up, not make you question your worth. So, when you hear those words, take a deep breath, recognize that they're not a reflection of your truth, and walk away with your head held high, knowing that you are more than enough. Number 7. Why do you always have to be so calm? Why do you always have to be so calm? This question often comes up when people see someone who remains composed in situations that would typically rattle others. The answer to this isn't about being unaffected or indifferent. Instead, it's rooted in a deep sense of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Staying calm is a choice, not a lack of feeling. It's about recognizing that emotions, while natural, can sometimes cloud judgment and prevent clear thinking. When you're calm, you're not suppressing your feelings, but rather, you're allowing yourself to experience them without letting them control you. Calmness provides a sense of stability, especially in chaotic situations. It helps you think clearly, assess problems more rationally, and respond in a way that is productive rather than reactive. This doesn't mean you're avoiding challenges or difficult emotions. It means you're better equipped to handle them without letting panic or stress dictate your actions. In a way, calmness is a reflection of maturity and emotional control. It's a skill that requires practice, mindfulness, and a willingness to engage with life's ups and downs in a balanced manner. Some might see it as a defense mechanism, an armor against the storm, but in truth, it's a way of being present, of not being overwhelmed by the world around you. The question, why do you always have to be so calm, is often a reflection of someone else's struggle with their own emotional responses. It's not that calmness is always easy, but rather, it's a conscious effort to rise above the noise and engage with the world in a grounded, thoughtful way. Number 8. I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you. Those words carry a weight heavier than any physical burden. They are born out of a deep hurt, a betrayal that cuts to the core, leaving scars that time can never quite heal. The phrase is not uttered lightly. It's the culmination of pain, disappointment, and disillusionment. When someone we trust, someone we love, causes us unimaginable harm, the betrayal feels like a breach in the very fabric of our reality. Forgiveness, in such moments, seems like an impossibility, a bridge too far to cross. But what makes these words so powerful? They are not just an expression of anger or resentment. They are a declaration of boundaries. It's a way of saying, what you did was beyond the pale, and I cannot let it slide. It's an acknowledgement that some actions are unforgivable, that they leave behind a permanent mark that no amount of time or apology can erase. The pain feels too raw, too personal to simply let go. However, while it may feel right in the moment, the decision to never forgive can also be a form of self-imprisonment. Holding on to such intense anger can become consuming, a constant reminder of what was lost, and it can cloud the path forward. But for now, the words are final. I'll never forgive you is an expression of emotional defense, a way of protecting oneself from further damage. And yet, even in their finality, there's a small hope, an acknowledgement that one day the weight of these words might shift. Maybe not now, but somewhere down the road we may find that forgiveness is not about letting someone else off the hook, but about freeing ourselves from the chains of anger and resentment. Number 9. I don't trust you. Trust is a fragile thing. Once broken, it's often impossible to rebuild. The foundation of any relationship, whether personal or professional, is trust. And when that foundation is shattered, everything built on top of it crumbles. The reason I don't trust you is simple. Actions speak louder than words. You may have said the right things, promised the world, but your actions never aligned with your words. Every time I opened up, you let me down. Every time I took a leap of faith, you pulled the rug out from under me. It's not about holding grudges. It's about protecting myself from the possibility of further harm. You may not understand why I feel the way I do, but it's not for me to explain. Trust isn't a favor. It's earned. And I've given you the benefit of the doubt far too many times. But now, I can't keep pretending that I don't see the pattern of deceit, inconsistency, and broken promises. It's painful, because trusting someone requires vulnerability, and being vulnerable only to have it thrown back in your face leaves scars. Each time, I tell myself that this is the last time, that I'll be strong enough to forgive. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't erase the feelings of betrayal that are etched in my mind, nor does it wash away the doubt that lingers like a shadow over everything you do. I cannot let myself stay in this cycle, hoping things will change when the evidence tells me they won't. So, no, I don't trust you. I can't. I've learned the hard way that trust, once lost, is often too costly to regain. Number 10. I don't care about your feelings. In today's world, there's a growing emphasis on empathy and understanding others' feelings, which is undoubtedly important. However, there's also an undeniable truth that sometimes we must be blunt and assertive. I don't care about your feelings. This doesn't mean a complete disregard for others or a lack of kindness. Instead, it's a recognition that in certain situations, prioritizing emotions can become a hindrance to progress. When you're constantly concerned about how your actions will make others feel, you can become paralyzed by fear, indecision, or a sense of obligation. This mindset can prevent you from pursuing what's best for yourself or making hard decisions that are ultimately necessary. This approach isn't about being cruel, it's about setting boundaries and understanding that your personal growth, success, and well-being are sometimes more important than appeasing every person around you. Life requires tough choices, and sometimes those choices hurt or discomfort others. But that's an unfortunate byproduct of progress. It's about having the courage to make decisions without the guilt of worrying how others will respond. In fact, it's important to remember that other people's emotions and reactions are not within your control. You can't always prevent someone from feeling upset, disappointed, or angry, and in those moments, it's okay to accept that their emotions are not your responsibility. By not constantly catering to the feelings of others, you can create space to focus on your own path, one that's authentic and unencumbered by unnecessary guilt. It's not about being callous. It's about freeing yourself to make decisions that align with your true needs and aspirations. In conclusion, if a woman says any of these 10 things, it's essential to reflect carefully on the situation. Stoicism teaches us the value of emotional clarity, resilience, and rational decision-making. Relationships should bring mutual respect, understanding, and growth, not stress or negativity. Remember, your peace of mind and emotional well-being come first. If something doesn't align with those values, walking away might be the wisest choice. Stay true to yourself, remain grounded in your principles, and always choose peace over chaos. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more content on personal growth and Stoic philosophy.